What's up, fellas? This is NBA Dope One. Comes to you another video. Another one speaking about James Harden. Is James Harden the best scorer since Michael Jordan? There's a saying about this. All that glitters is not gold. I think James Harden's scoring ability is subterfuge. I think it's buffoonery alongside Russell Westbrook. And now his scoring ability have deceived people to believing that is up there with Michael Jordan. I tell people this all the time. The game is not as physical. When it gets a little bit physical, when he don't get his foul calls, he looks a little bit different. I haven't seen this from a Michael. I haven't seen this from a Kobe. I've seen Michael and Kobe miss a lot of shots, particularly Kobe more, but they still play their games. James Harden looks different, uncomfortable, and James Harden looks totally different than how he looks being comfortable in the playoffs than the regular season. He uncharacteristically tries to draw fouls, and once again, Max Kellerman pointed this out when they was down 3 and he tried to draw a foul on Golden State. This was game 1 of the semifinals 2019. So now Chris Broussard has put out a video. I believe this is his podcast, sports radio, whatever. The Odd Couple with Chris and Rob, but I don't know this brother's name. Rob isn't here. So Chris finna talk about or try to defend James Harden might be the best scorer since Jordan, or entertain the thought per se. So here we go. They're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna provide feedback.
Rob G, as much as he likes Kobe Bryant, and this pains him to say it, because he's an ultimate Lakers fan. You are too, so I don't know where you stand on this.
When I hear guys say that, with all due respect or no disrespect, or I'm a fan of this, or I'm not a fan of this, they're basically trying to erase themselves from being a hater. Like, this is what I think of Kobe Bryant, and I'm a Laker fan. This is what I think of LeBron James, and I'm not a Cleveland fan, or something like that. So this is basically them trying to say that, hey, I'm going to say an opinion, and I'm not a fanboy.
Rob G admit,
or I'm not a hater,
that James Harden is a better scorer than Kobe Bryant.
He said admits like, we've been like like he has finally given it up, like he's been trying to hold it in. This, of course, he's not a better scorer than Kobe Bryant. Kobe is a more versatile scorer. James is a better three-point shooter. Kobe is a better mid-range shooter, a better post scorer, a better finisher, a more physical player, a better post scorer. And these things are very important because I tell people this all the time. It's absolutely insulting to have two go-to moves, being the step back and a straight line to the basket, and think it's going to work efficiently enough against top defenses in the playoffs. It didn't even work well for Michael Jordan. This is the reason what led to Clyde Drexler saying it was hard to get a steal on Michael Jordan because he has 6 go-to moves or more. This man only has about 2 go-to moves. 2 go-to moves. Really one, the step back 3, and the drive to the basket, and he's trying to add that floater, which counts as that straight line drive to the basket. He don't even do the Euro step as much as he used to because he was a lot quicker then. Now he has to do moves that preserve his energy. That's why all his moves are so slow. He has to slow down the game. His body looks out of shape. He's an incredibly strong brother. This is why it's comical when he draws fouls. He acts like someone shot him in the face, but he's an incredibly strong brother. He's playing the point guard position, but he's probably stronger than 95% of point guards in the league.
He's saying he hasn't said he's the greatest since MJ, but the name he brought up was Kevin Durant.
He's not even the better scorer than Kevin Durant, let alone Kobe. Kobe is a much physical scorer. And like I said, Kobe do get inefficient, but Kobe knew how to win the game. That's the knock I have on James Harden. James Harden looks different in the playoffs. This is why I stress the limited game that he has. A guy that has to use trickery. They said a leader that leads by deception is not a leader. It's called fraud. This man has to use subterfuge and deception and tricks and nicks to get points. That tells me he does not truly believe that he can beat championship teams. That's what I believe. I don't think he truly has 100% confidence in himself. I think he has confidence that he can score a bunch of points. I just don't think he has true confidence that he can beat a championship team.
James Harden, look, and I love Kevin Durant, and I'm with you. You said it. Before Durant went to Golden State, this is what I said. I said he's a 7-foot version of Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Because he can shoot the three.
Get any shot he wants.
In terms of Kevin Durant's scoring ability, as far as the other intangibles like passing, impact, I think Stephen Curry is better at that.
Off the dribble, yes, and he's got a foot on Steph.
And when I watch Steph and KD play, I see skill. And not to say James Harden is not skilled, but James Harden's play just disgusts me. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But you can tell that Stephen Curry and KD is a lot more skilled. Even when you compare him to brothers like this, such as a Kobe Bryant and KD, Michael Jordan, even Steph Curry, these guys are a lot more skilled, in my opinion, than James Harden. James Harden just have mastered today's rules.
So
it's not a reliable type of offense.
It's like a 7-foot version of Steph Curry. He's awesome. But he has not done what James Harden is doing.
Or rather, he hasn't had the opportunity to do that. KD could have easily left the Oklahoma City Thunder and went to some bad team and had a coach that built the offensive system around him. He chose not to do that. He played with Russell Westbrook, the sabotager. He chose to go play with Stephen Curry and value IQ and team ball. This is one of the reasons when Steve Kerr told on the media that KD needs to take 40 shots. KD said, no, I don't need to take 40 shots. Why should I take 40 shots? That's not how you play basketball, because it's not in KD's mindset. It's not in Stephen Curry's mindset. This is why I don't think Stephen Curry really enjoys taking up a bunch of shots unless he's going. But even still, guys like that, and KD learned, but Steph had it in him, likes to get their team going. Even LeBron.
James Harden, people are saying best scorer since Michael Jordan. He's averaging from 38.9 points per game. 38.9. Let me read a few more stats for you before you shoot this down, because I can tell.
You don't know what I'm doing over here, man. I'm hanging out.
It's funny to the dude. It's funny because when you argue James Harden, you have to destroy context. I mean, like, people that say that you can't argue James Harden and act like his game doesn't exist. Everybody knows what his game is. Like, you could pretend like it doesn't exist. You can, like, it's like getting drunk, right? You can, like, get drunk and try to take away all the pain, like how people that go through a lot of stuff get drunk. But at the end of the day, you can try to take away, you can try to delete how this man get his points and just get drunk in his numbers. At the end of the day, you're going to see how he get these points. You're going to see the subterfuge. You're going to see the way he uses the refs, and you're going to see how different he looks when he don't get these calls. The brother was up 10, 13, taking isolation points, right? Taking isolation plays. Just jacking up shots, up 10 and 11. Like, come on now.
I got a feeling. You in the frat?
No.
Okay. We just have to.
And I will say this. James Harden has the best offensive supporting cast, a better offensive supporting cast than the Kobe and the Jordan. Jordan, obviously, out of the three, had a way better defensive supporting cast. James Harden had, I would say, Kobe had a lot of bigs, very good bigs. Both Jordan and Kobe played in the triangle. James Harden has shooters, so he's allowed to play one-on-one, and when you double him, then the shooters will shoot you out the game. This was confuses me why he's taking so many shots when he has such a great supporting cast.
Saying that
this will let me know the guy only cares about MVPs. That's all he care about.
Got a feeling. All right, here we go. James Harden. Over 50% of his points come from isolations. None of the league's 11 other 25 point per game scores are even approaching 30%. And that's what we're talking about.
Because there's a lot of dumb coaches in the NBA, but they're not D'Antoni. They don't clean Harden's beard every morning. So they actually want to run a system or some form of it. And even if they got stars like LeBron that runs their system or more of their system, those stars at least have IQ.
the best individual scorer, straight one-on-one. And I'm fascinated, Ephraim, with Harden. Because you played ball at a high level. You played at San Diego State, where you also played football.
Yes, I did.
You know how difficult it is. Harden is not the most athletic guy in the world, relatively speaking. So he's got long, rangy, athletic players in his...
Keep in mind, y'all, James Harden has a 6'11 wingspan. James Harden has a body to be a lockdown defender. The brother just chooses not to be.
Space. And he dribbles, and he feints, and he shakes, and he does steps back. How in the world is this guy able,
as Charles say, dribble
to get his shot off or get by you? It's amazing to me he's so crafty. And that's what I like about him. 38.9 points a game. He's leading the league.
He is crafty. I give it to him. He's a crafty brother. You got to be crafty when you trying to deceive folks. You know what? I should call him Sly Cooper. That's what I should call him. Maybe I should call him Sly Cooper. I do know he's basketball Pinocchio. Every time he lies, his beard grow. But maybe I should also give him another nickname. Sly Cooper. He's the Sly Cooper of the NBA.
Couple other quick stats, and then you can go ahead. At his current clip, he's going to break Steph Curry's record of 402 threes. I know he takes a ton.
Keep in mind, guys, when Steph Curry set that record, he was shooting 46% from three. Harden's shooting somewhere around 33, 34%.
So, he takes like 14 threes a game. So he's going to have 405. Daryl Morey says this, his GM for the Rockets.
The other nerd that cares nothing else about numbers.
James Harden is generating more points per possession than pretty much anyone in history. The numbers actually back up Morey.
Daryl Morey went to a radio station. I believe it was The Ringer with a James Harden shirt. So that should tell me what Daryl Morey is about. He's going to back up his numbers, and he's going to back up James Harden. Because it's either do or die with James Harden.
Harden's 48 points.
Should be lucky he got his job because the whole China fiasco, he gets to stay in the league.
2 points per 100 possessions last season was more than any player has logged since 1973-74. And maybe even further, we just have the data back to 73-74. So, go ahead. I know you. I can tell.
You're a purist. What you talking about?
You got hops. You had hops, 38-inch vertical.
Look, okay.
You have no use for a guy who can't jump.
That's not true.
All right, go ahead.
That's not true. And he
that makes no sense.
Can't jump. He'll get to the rim. He'll finish.
But he's 6'6".
Right?
Well, that don't mean nothing. Michael Jordan was 6'6".
My thing is he is a dynamic scorer. But I'll ask you this. What's his go-to move?
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yes, sir. Thank you, man. He only has two go-to moves, and really one he truly trusts in. It's the step back three.
It's a step back.
See, that's the thing with these analytical guys. It's like they're quick with the numbers. But when you just break it down, his game, that's why I call being drunk. It's like going through a lot of pain, and then you try to get drunk. It's like you get drunk with the numbers. But when the drunkenness wears away, just break it down. Break it down to them.
Yeah.
Step back three.
Say the step back.
So if I gave you every time you went to do your move an extra step.
Oh, so you think he's traveling?
Oh, he is traveling. It's not I think he's traveling.
Well, look, they not calling it.
I know they're not calling it.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. We know he's traveling. We know Kobe didn't travel. Nor we knew Michael didn't travel. They value footwork and playing the game the right way, at least.
But that doesn't.
And that's the thing. A lot of analytical guys, or even fans, knock on Kobe that Kobe used to pump fake 1,000 times and try to shoot on double teams. And Kobe was selfish. But Kobe, one thing I couldn't knock with Kobe is Kobe will play the game the right way, and Kobe knew how to win. Kobe probably be the last selfish true player that knows how to win the game. Because one thing that Kobe has that the other selfish players don't have is incredible IQ. Kobe is an incredibly smart individual.
Matter because
he's not the only one.
No, he's created
a whole
a whole culture of stepping back. I saw a 7-year-old in my son's little open
back.
gym league do Harden step back. A 7-year-old.
Wow.
He should be kicked out the gym.
And I
Step
was
back
like,
is not easy to do.
It's not easy
I don't
to do.
have
You
that
have
in
to
my
be
arsenal.
extremely coordinated to
Right.
do that.
Do you?
Doing it the right way. Now, if you're allowed to take 3 or 4 steps, then that's a different story.
Did you? Well, we didn't back in the day.
It wasn't even
a thought.
no, it wasn't
But
a
I don't
thought.
have that even close to my arsenal.
Because the rest would have the rest would have called it, and it would have sent y'all to the bench.
And although on the majority of his step backs, he gets 3 to 4 steps. You
I don't
only
know.
get
I don't
2,
know about
right?
that.
You only get 2.
You get 2.5.
You only get 2, right?
I don't know about 4. Come on.
Man, you didn't.
get 2.5
You never saw the
steps.
meme where Harden did the step back and they had him stepping back all over the world.
Man, you might as well call James Harden NASA because he's stepping back in space too.
Remember, you don't remember that.
I've not seen that one, but I can picture it.
Okay, when we're done with this in the next break, I'll pull that play
All
up and
right.
you tell me how many steps he takes. But with that said, I don't want to take anything away from his dynamic ability to score. The problem I have with James Harden is not of the scoring variety. The problem I have with James Harden when you talk about the best – now, you said the best scorer, not best
Since
player.
June. Right. No doubt.
And that's where I want to take him out of the conversation about best player.
Right.
Because last I checked, the best player did more than just score.
I
He
hear
played
you.
both sides
Of course. Even Kobe.
Right.
of the
and
court.
that's what hard.
And it looks bad when you have a strong body and a 6'11" wingspan, and Stephen Curry is trying more on defense than you.
Doesn't do.
And that's the lack of that. If you could take a break defensively,
Exactly. If Michael could just take a break on one side of the ball and just focus on scoring, right?
if you could just take a break in the middle of a game, literally let someone go by, dribble by you, and you don't even move. Like, now listen,
But here's
these
the
are
thing.
all things that have happened.
He tries.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. What James Harden has James Harden has a 6'11" wingspan. This is why James Harden has become quite, I would say, inept at stealing the ball. James Harden, his arms are longer than you think. He can steal the ball. So when you dust him, he knows how to position himself and reach in, or he'll catch. He'll know a player will know if you ain't got handles. A player will know when your moves are sloppy on the court. So he is good at reaching in and stealing the ball from your hands. But it's not reliable either.
He tries.
Because I don't see him stealing the ball at the last seconds when it counts. I see great defenders make great defensive plays when it counts the most. I see great offensive players make great offensive plays when it counts the most. And I don't mean the last play with 23 seconds left. I mean in the final game, right? In the final game, third to the fourth quarter. You get what I'm saying? I'm not finna, like, isolate something into, like, 30 seconds or something. I mean, in the last game, I don't see him making the steals or the stops enough in the pivotal games to call him a great stealer or a great defender.
Somewhat on defense.
Sometimes
He is. Steph Curry's not a great defender.
as
And Steph Curry tries more than them.
bad.
Steve Nash wasn't a great defender.
But those guys, they really tried. They just couldn't do it.
Exactly. And not only that, Steph has bad defensive mechanics.
Now James Harden can play defense
To
because
a
when he
degree.
was in
He's not gonna be
OKC,
great.
But when he was in OKC, he played defense.
He
When he
wasn't
came
a
up,
Because he was on a defensive team. Scott Brooks, if you notice something about the Oklahoma City Thunders, they are a great defensive team. Scott Brooks, they probably got some great defensive I'm looking for the word. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for the guys that, you know, train you. I would say assistant staff. They got some great defensive staffs because if you notice, they're still a great defensive team. They're just lacking incredible talent. They're not talented at all. They do have potential. They got Gallinari and Alexander. They got Chris Paul. They got the kid that can jump, Diallo. But they got a great defensive staff, and Billy Donovan is a great defensive coach, a better defensive coach than what Scott Brooks was, and Scott Brooks was a decent defensive coach. But you can tell Thunder's got a great defensive staff. So they was telling Harden, you need to play defense. The thing is, Harden has got to the mode where someone has told him, and it was probably Daryl Morey, just focus on threes and layups. They have to have told him that.
Great defender.
But when he came off the bench, it's not about being great. It's about being adequate. But what you can't be.
He's not, because he doesn't. I would say this. The brother has the body type to be a lockdown defender. That long arms and the body. He just simply doesn't try.
No, man, no.
I think
you're not watching enough basketball games.
I think he's adequate. I mean,
no, he's too busy looking at the stat sheet and his invisible sources that doesn't exist.
I don't think he's
the fact that he doesn't want to.
Point guard. Does Damian?
His sources are his imaginary friends.
Lillard shut anybody down?
No.
Does Kyrie Irving?
No.
I mean,
Damian Lillard tries a lot more than him. Kyrie Irving tries a lot more. Kyrie actually had a stretch of decent defense. But those guys, like I said, there's not a lot of guys in the NBA that plays defense. I believe there's a stat that says 60 to 70% of the league don't play defense, and that's ridiculous. But James Harden, a lot of those guys just simply don't know how to defend. They don't preach defense like they used to. Even Isaiah Thomas said they don't have the defensive mechanics. James Harden simply just doesn't try. James Harden would try to pick his spots, but James Harden just simply doesn't try.
If I'm giving you 39 points and 8 dimes a night,
you deserve to take off.
I mean, you're the leader. You got to lead by example. You get what I'm saying? You can't be the leader and not play defense. Because his old coach before Mike D'Antoni, Kevin Micheal, said it real. And James Harden called him a clown. Kevin Micheal said something very real. Kevin Micheal said it's hard for your leader not to play defense. And then when you lose the game because of your defense, you're telling guys at the back, hey, we wasn't great defensively. He says it's very hard to do that.
Defensively?
Because Steph Curry tries to play defense. You don't see Steph Curry blowing assignments. However, Steph Curry does have lapses in the game where he do blow assignments. Steph Curry loses his focus. I think Steph Curry needs to be stronger mentally, because when he's confident, he looks unstoppable. But he needs to be stronger mentally. That's one of the knocks I have on Steph Curry. You can mentally dominate the Golden State Warriors minus Kevin Durant on the court, not personality-wise, because personality-wise, Golden State is quite mentally strong. But on the court, you can mentally dominate them. But as far as defense, Steph Curry do try. And ironically, when James was averaging about 31, 30, that was his best season. That was his best season he even played defense. He went back to the old dribble. I remember when they was playing Golden State, they was winning games when they moved the ball around better, and Chris Paul handled the ball, and they was losing games when James was isolating too much.
And it's just me.
Defender. I'm with you, because I'm not saying I don't think he's the best player in the world, and I agree with you on why. LeBron this year's playing both ends. Kawhi plays both ends. Giannis plays both ends.
Guys play. Paul George plays both ends.
Right.
Kawhi. These guys play both ends. These are some of the greatest players in the NBA.
Because to win the championship, you got to play some form of defense, right? You got to play some form of defense. This is also one of the reasons why Golden State lost to Cleveland Cavaliers. Besides the fact they was hobbled, Kyrie Irving was unguardable. And Kyrie Irving's unguardable anyway. But just imagine Kyrie Irving just being unguardable, because Kyrie Irving was a lot stronger when he was in Cleveland, but he was a lot faster, and the point guard he was playing against wasn't that great of a defender. But to Steph credit, he does try, but you can see how defense can literally make you lose, right? Because as much the excuses you can have, you have probably just as much as blame. So you can say they was hobbled, but Steph also wasn't playing that great of a defense. We're talking about a guy who's a worse defender than Steph Curry, and he has the talent. It's kind of it's just ridiculous.
The history of players, guys play both ways, because that's how you had to learn. What we're getting now is a slew of basketball players who have no idea how to play defense.
I think there's young. I mean, Kawhi's not old. He played.
I mean, that's one, Chris Broussard. Come on now. He's exactly right. Why you think you see so many 130-point games? Look at Luka Doncic.
Plays D.
When you
Paul
watch
George isn't old.
college basketball right now, and these top one-and-done players, the biggest knock on them coming out of college is defensive awareness.
But that's because of their youth.
And also awareness, period. Because if you look at a lot of college basketball, the plays they run are just stupid. But I think we kind of like brush over it because they're young and they're kids, and you kind of want to see competition. But a lot of these coaches ain't teaching these guys the game. They just marvel over athleticism and three-point shots. They're not teaching them fundamentals. I say this all the time. Rockets lost to the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio will always play fundamental. So it's going to be hard to beat a team that knows what he's doing. He may lack the talent, but if he knows what he's doing, it's going to be hard to beat that type of team.
Exactly.
Because, first of all,
they're not learning.
LeBron wasn't a good defender at a young age.
And that's also why these Europeans coming into the league, a lot of guys want to say these Europeans are getting better. Yeah, they're getting better, but the truth is they have IQ and true fundamentals.
Have you seen LeBron? Did you watch LeBron
First
in high school?
years, yeah, he wasn't.
But did you watch him in high school chasing?
He was fine.
Like he was always chasing.
But in his first couple years in the NBA, he was not a good defender.
Where do you think the chase down came from? That's all he.
Chase down's fine, but that's not defense. It's like getting steals. That's once a game at best, right? He was not a good defender. Most young guys, not all, but most aren't good defenders at a young age. And now,
they don't.
To your point, you can't teach them because they're only there for a year.
They don't teach it in AAU.
No,
they're not teaching it in high school.
Nope.
So this is what's happening. If we outscore them, then Mike D'Antoni, his blueprint to win,
to get to the conference finals,
right?
Because you
can't win like that.
Well,
exactly, bingo.
You cannot win a championship like without playing any defense. It doesn't work.
I agree with you, but here's the one thing. The one thing I'll say, I'll agree with you. That Phoenix team, when they got the guys suspended against San Antonio, they were up 2-1 if I'm not mistaken.
And the thing with the Phoenix team, that Phoenix team Phoenix team offense looked a lot beautiful. It's not the James Harden offense where Phoenix just isolated all game. They ran a beautiful offense. It's just they didn't play any defense. And Steve Nash was a high IQ basketball player.
Or it was, I think they were up 2-1.
And a true playmaker. And a great passer.
I think they would have won that series and could have won the championship because the Eastern that might have been the year LeBron and them represented the East with his woeful supporting cast in Cleveland in 2007. But that Phoenix team, whoever won the West would have won it. Now, maybe they wouldn't have beat the Spurs, but that suspension killed them. You talking about Amari and all those guys.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to get to because I'm fascinated with James Harden, but you will not win. I'm going to throw this out to you. I don't believe, because of history, that a guy can win a championship averaging 39 points a game. The most.
That means that your team suck, or that means that you're just jacking up a bunch of shots. That's what that means. Rockets do not suck. That's the confusing part to me. That's how I know that D'Antoni ain't coaching. He's cleaning out Harden's beard. That's how I know that Daryl Morey. And it's funny to me because Daryl Morey preached the 53s a game. He just got those guys standing in the corner. It's just a horrible style of basketball. And then guys that look at this, they claim that this style wins the championship. But trying to do something like this doesn't mean throwing out the aspects of the game. It's like taking a shortcut. It's like the person that's doing it the hard work way still has to apply IQ. So if you take the shortcut, don't you want to still apply the IQ to the shortcut? Right? So that's the confusing part. Not just take the shortcut and not apply the IQ.
Points per game that a player has ever averaged while leading a team to a championship in the regular season was 32.5 points a game. That was Michael Jordan.
Yeah. And
Will all his great 50 points, 44 points, 38, 39 points a year, never won championships in those years.
You know why?
Because it's a team game.
And Wilt didn't pass the ball.
And you started this rant that you have right now, you started with his isolation percentage. Right. It's the highest in the league by a mile.
By a mile.
Therein lies the problem. When you isolate, the number one thing you do, you may get your shot and you may make it, but you alienate everybody else on the court.
Yep.
The game of basketball is a fluid game. It should be very little standing around.
Agreed.
If you're standing around during the basketball game, something's not right.
Well, these kids are going to agree with you. They're going to say as long as you shoot threes, that's how you win. They're going to say that style is a dinosaur style. They're gonna say that you should be able to catch and shoot because that's what wins championships now.
Right?
When the only team that truly won championships doing that was the Golden State Warriors. And Golden State Warriors are doing exactly what he said. Move the ball around. Shoot mid-range when they have to.
No one's cutting.
And that's
no
all
one's
they do.
screening.
And with extremely high IQ.
That's all they do.
Right.
They get to a spot and they stand around and
watch
wait.
James.
And
they
that's the problem.
They let Westbrook. This is how they appease Westbrook. You got transition.
Go.
If you get the rebound or you
Go.
get the outlet,
You can go.
That's
I mean, that's the only thing he's good at. He's not a great half-court player. He can't really isolate because he can't shoot. So he's not a great half-court player. James Harden is the half-court player. So they gave James Harden the half-court, and they gave Russell Westbrook the transition.
when you
can go.
outside of that, you gonna stand and watch too.
That's exactly right.
Because Mike D'Antoni, as good as he is a one-trick pony. That's all he knows how to do.
Or rather, just an offensive coach. But I believe Mike D'Antoni's system was supposed to be a lot more beautiful than this, but he is scared of James Harden. They baby him. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That let one guy be ball dominant. Steve Nash was ball dominant. He was a passer, but ball dominant. Now Jeremy Lin had success with D'Antoni. Now you got Harden taking it to another level. But I'm with you. They can't, and that's James Harden needs more than anything else. Not another scoring title, a championship.
That's it. He doesn't. That's the problem. Like psychologically, you can't understand that aspect because you're so caught up in you.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's the knock I have on James Harden. He cares more about MVPs. James Harden failed with the ability that I can do this rather than should I do it. That's the thing.
Right, and that's the problem.
He hasn't changed his game a lick.
And he's not going
For
to.
Russ.
Of course not.
He's not going to. It didn't work with Why do you think it didn't work with CP3?
Well, that's another thing.
The offense was better when CP3 played make, and James Harden didn't like it. But most of all, CP3 fell off a cliff, and CP3 was an arrogant player that was unreliable on the court in terms of durability.
That everybody raves again. Oh, it didn't work. Well, if CP3 doesn't get hurt, and that's a big gift because he tends to get hurt all the time.
Yes, he does.
But
That's the thing. I said this. I said when they got CP3, don't be crying when he gets hurt because getting hurt is who this man is, right? So,
It's a
they
different.
were up 3-2 on Golden State.
And guess what? He was controlling the ball. He was controlling the ball. So when you take the ball out of Chris Paul wasn't ISOing.
No.
His whole thing is setting people up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the thing. So when you take a Hall of Fame point guard who's known for distributing and playing defense, right? You team him up with someone like Harden, you have the best success you're going to have. That guy gets hurt, what happens? The wheels fall off.
I'm not
exactly.
sure they're better with Russ.
Of course they're not. Like I said before, Russ is an individually better player in terms of athleticism than Chris Paul. What they needed was a high IQ guy that can handle the offense a little bit, or another scorer. Russell Westbrook cannot shoot. It was a desperation move. When Lakers got better, when Clippers got better, they felt like they was lost in the dust. They lost their chance when KD got injured. KD was their best. When KD got injured, that was their best chance to win the finals. That's what I believe. They would have ran through Portland Trailblazers, and they would have had a good chance against Toronto. When all those teams got better, they pulled off a desperation move. They said Chris Paul is injury prone, and they pulled off a Russell Westbrook. It was a desperation move. I call them Beavens and Butthead, the two lowest IQ superstar duo in the NBA today.
They're more
They're-
explosive and volatile and maybe dangerous, maybe. But I don't. Chris was a good defender. He was a mid-range shooter, and he could spot up and shoot the three, which is critical with Harden. I think Westbrook's shooting like 23% from three.
Well, he can't shoot threes.
No. So, all right, we're going to throw it out to you, 877-90.
At all. He can't shoot at all. The fella can't shoot at all. He couldn't throw a rock in the ocean if he was in the ocean. He couldn't throw the rock in the ocean if he was underwater in the ocean.
9 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Two questions for you. Is James Harden the greatest NBA scorer since Michael Jordan? Or you can answer either one. Or Can you win a championship with a guy scoring at this pace, 39 points a game? Ephraim and I say no. As much as we like what Harden's doing, we say no.
You said Ephraim or Ethan? I guess that's the brother name. I still haven't caught it.
What do you say? 877-99 on Fox. Let's start with Tony in D.C. Tony, you're on with the Odd Couple.
Fellas, what's going on, man? I haven't talked to y'all in a while. Glad you're doing good. Happy holidays, all that good stuff.
Yes.
First off, light-skinned running backs, Roger Craig, and maybe
Well,
Marcus
Roger
Allen.
Craig was white. You know, there's light skin. You talking about light skinned black people?
Right.
Oh no,
Roger
Roger.
Craig
Oh no,
is
you're
right.
Roger Craig.
right.
What-
Right. I'm
what you
thinking
talking
of
about?
I'm thinking of the guy that was at SMU, Craig James.
Craig James.
Roger
I'm
Craig
like-
wasn't better than Franco Harris.
Yes, he was.
Oh, stop it. Ephraim.
But anyway, let's get to
Roger Craig
the
was good,
subject.
but stop it.
Okay. Chris Broussard, I'm so tired, and I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'm so tired of you disrespecting Kobe, Bean, Bryant, Chris.
Don't just bring Chris Broussard, bring ESPN and Fox. Keep in mind, Kobe attacked ESPN and said that's why your ratings were down, which automatically instilled this war between him. So now ESPN and media at every turn is going to try their best to destroy Kobe Bryant. Even bring up past allegations, whether he handled it or not. They're going to try to destroy Kobe Bryant and delegitimize him. So you can bring the media because of that. At every turn, they will say crap like James Harden is a better scorer, Kobe was just an inefficient shot jacker, or Kobe was carried by Shaq, which that portion you can say is true. Now they're going to say that Paul Gasol deserved both of those finals MVPs. They're going to pretty much try their best to delegitimize Kobe Bryant because he is at war with ESPN.
Broussard. Look, man, Kobe could go right, left. He could post. He had the mid-range. James is the better three-point shooter, of course. But Kobe played within the triangle system that didn't really allow him to ISO.
Exactly, because he played in a system. When he finally decided that jacking up shots wasn't going to win the championship, and I believe this is what Kobe had told James Harden, off of experience.
And
give
in
you
the
that.
playoffs, Kobe's offensive game got even better. James seems to regress in the playoffs.
Exactly, because he uses subterfuge, he uses deceit to get his points, and when he doesn't have it, he's not secure enough. Secure is the perfect word. He likes to feel safe in his game. That's why he likes to play slow. He likes to play safe. But when he gets out of his comfort zone, he looks like a different player. He looks like a low IQ player that jacks up shots and break the flow of the game. His game breaks the flow of the game. The way he plays, the way he slows down, when he gets into his bag, the cutting, all of that just stops.
This is an offensive game.
He ain't lying.
First of all, I didn't say Harden was the best scorer since Jordan. Rob G said that. And he said the only player he can think of is better.
Exactly. Go ahead, put some sense into Chris Broussard. Wake him up. Like I said, they drunk over the stats, but the intoxication is going to wear them off.
Was Kevin Durant. Now, Kobe, here's the thing for Kobe, and I get it because Harden makes the free throws and he makes threes. Kobe this is my knock on Kobe, as great as he was. He wasn't very efficient.
Kobe came from an era that played a lot of physical defense. It was going to be extremely hard to be efficient in the area of Kobe because guys were undercutting you in the ankles. I remember, like I said, I will point this out again. I remember guys wanted Zaza executed and exiled when he undercut Kawhi Leonard in the conference finals. Well, Reggie Miller did this to Kobe, and a lot more players did this to Kobe. I believe even that guy on San Antonio, Bruce Bowen, Kobe had broken fingers. He played in a more physical era, but he also did it to himself by just jacking up shots. It was almost as if he was just bored with the game. He had some fascination with just telling guys, I'm the best scorer in the game, and you guys are not close to me, wherever it was. He was selfish.
Kobe never shot better than 46% from the floor. And that was with Shaq for 8 years drawing double and triple teams. So Kobe wasn't very efficient. Jordan was efficient. 50% or better.
And Scottie Pippen said this about copycats, in which I totally agree. He said, if you notice, the original is efficient and great, and the copycats are normally almost as great, but they're not as efficient. When you look at Stephen Curry Stephen Curry shoots 46% from three, jacking up threes, as people like to say. Just shooting the volume of threes, but he's shooting 46% from three, 52% from the field. You look at a Damian Lillard, who you can say is the second best shooter off the dribble. Damian Lillard was shooting 37% from three. That's like 10 less than Stephen Curry. Steph Curry's range was around 42 to 46. Damian Lillard's is like around 34 to about 37. So, guys, the original is always magical and efficient in terms of Steph and Micheal. And the copycats like Dame and Kobe, they're as great. And Kobe is probably the closest you ever go get to Jordan, but they're not as efficient.
Better early for the first half and first 2/3 of his career. And Harden doesn't shoot better than 46% either, but he makes up for it with the
The physical era. That's what you meant to say.
threes and the
Because look at James Harden's percentage in the playoffs. It even drops from first, second to third round.
free throws. Let's go to Bob in Naples. Bob, you're on.
But that's it. I'm not going to listen to all of this. If you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. And thanks for supporting the channel if you are doing that. And that is it, fellas.